There is a story in the good book about a man who builds his house on the foundation of sand. And when the waters came, they washed away the sand and his house came crumbling down. In much the same way does that story parallel the console fanboy. For the blind loyalty of the console fanboy to his precious console is built on a foundation of sand. The tiniest scrutinies, the smallest applications of logic, of reasoning, of comparing A to B, they will reveal his foundation of sand, and it will wash it away. Today's figure A is a video by a Mr. FlamesonFire1212's. So not only is it hard to believe that 1,211 other people on the internet use the name Flames on Fire, but this video was actually created back in 2010. Now, for the sake of fairness, and for the sake of my own integrity, any of his points that were made invalid after the date of his upload, I will not put against him. For instance, Mr. NoobTube Gamer had a video where he said that consoles were better than PC, and he brought up that Steam did not have refunds shortly before Steam offered refunds, so I cannot hold that against him. So now that all of that is out of the way, grab your shifters and punch 13 because it is time to rock!
I've been into console gaming ever since I got my Nintendo 64, back when I was 6 or 7. I've tried to get into PC gaming, but it just isn't happening.
Dear Lord, that music is loud compared to your voice. I can barely hear a tiny thing that you're saying. I can't make out hardly a single word that is coming out of your... Well, I mean, actually, rock on, man. But secondly, you say, I've tried to get into PC gaming. This already sends up the proverbial red flags. It's like starting off a sentence with, I'm not racist, but... Or, while I don't agree with everything Hitler did. You know what I mean? When you say, I tried to get into PC gaming, what does that mean? Because right now, I don't believe you. I really don't believe you. Did you buy a desktop? A laptop? What was the operating system? How much money did you spend on it? Did you have any problems? Was it pre-built? Did you assemble it yourself? Did you go to Best Buy? What website did you use? What color was it? Was it a boy or a girl? Have you had any alcohol tonight, sir? These are important things for you to tell us. If you're trying to get us to avoid buying a PC, and that's what this video is, you're not trying to glorify the console, you're trying to drag down the PC, then you should give us the personal experiences that you have, because those give weight to your arguments. Personal experiences won't be the same for everybody, but they still happened. For instance, if you go to Amazon.com or eBay and you see items that have 4.9 or 4.8 out of 5-star ratings, there's always going to be someone who gives it a 1 or a 2 because the one they got was just effective. So while most people get into PC gaming without any problems at all, if you tried to get into PC gaming and for some reason your hard drive wouldn't let you install the operating system, or if the case was cracked, or if something weird happened with your power supply, then you should tell us that. Because quite frankly, I think that you're just saying, I tried to get into PC gaming, as a way to attempt to give your entire argument weight.
Other than Putt-Putt Saves the Zoo, that game kicks ass.
Now, I don't know anything about this Putt-Putt, but already he terrifies me. Begone, Putt-Putt! You're worse than Cars 2!
But for some reason, I just enjoy console gaming far more. Now, I know this is getting into flame war territory, but I'm not trying to piss anyone off.
Really? Flames on fire? You're not trying to start a flame war? Flames on fire? Which your name is that?
It's simply my opinion, and really, how does my opinion affect whatever gaming device you prefer?
Well, Hitler didn't have a very good opinion of Jews, and you could say a few Jews were somewhat affected by this. Just saying.
Anyway, I came up with 10 reasons why I like console gaming better than PC gaming. Enjoy.
I will not.
Number 10.
The keyboard isn't meant to game.
And mankind wasn't meant to fly, or cross the oceans, or get to the moon, or...
Computers were not made to play games. We just found ways to make them compatible for gaming.
I don't know what to say to this, so take this time to come up with your own response.
A gaming controller was specifically made for games. Not having to use one hand to push every single button, being able to hold the analog stick to the left and not have to keep lifting up the mouse, it just seems much cleaner to me. And everyone says that a true FPS is played with a mouse and keyboard, but I've always found it easier to play with a 360 or PS3 controller. Now, I'm positive that's because I have played console games my whole life, but still, I don't see how moving a mouse along a mouse pad can be any more accurate than moving a stick.
Bitch, Helen Keller could see that shit. But let's go ahead and knock out everything you've said about controllers. You say that gaming controllers were specifically designed for gaming. Well, guess what? A bumper car is specifically designed for a bumper car arena. If you take that bumper car out of the bumper car arena, it becomes a roadblock. Just because an item is specifically designated for one purpose, or it is designed for a single reason in mind, that doesn't mean that's the optimal way of executing that task. Like a bumper car, a console controller has no use outside of its environment. After all, a bicycle is meant for the traversal across terrain. And even though the bicycle was specifically designed to get me from point A to point B, I would much rather take my trips in a new car! Even if it is probably a V6 automatic. Yeah, that's right, I went there. Fuck you! The point is, like I said, just because something is designed for a specific purpose does not mean that it is the optimal way of executing that purpose. A console controller is simple. It has limited interface options to it because a console gives you limited options in terms of its functionality. Everything you see on the console screen is designed for you to navigate with that controller. Every list of options, every game, every in-game interface, everything that you see on that screen is designed and created with that controller in mind. The limitations of the functionality of the controller you are holding in your hands adversely affects the functionality of every menu and interface option that you see on your television screen. For instance, since I'm pretty casual about this whole YouTube business, I am currently editing and creating this video with free software called Movie Maker. Perhaps you've heard of it. As I sit here and use this program, I cannot imagine how horrible it would be to edit this video and create it with a controller in my hands instead of a keyboard and a mouse. But rags, the interface was created with the keyboard in mind. That is true. However, the keyboard does not limit its functionality. So, what is the biggest difference between the keyboard and mouse and the game controller? The usability of a keyboard and a mouse is not determined by the keyboard and mouse itself. The limitations are because I've only got 10 fingers. So, before everybody inevitably decides to chop off their arms to get robot hands, that's not really going to be an issue for most of us. However, with a game controller, you are physically very limited in the amount of things you can actually do. Also, nobody ever says that a true FPS is played with a mouse and keyboard. We say that aiming with a mouse is far better than aiming with a controller because, for starters, it is a much more accurate way to aim, which is a truer reflection of someone's actual skill. Plus, it doesn't require auto-aim to play the game for us.
Number 9.
Viruses. Now, I know with things like Steam, you can just re-download the game to your profile if your hard drive gets wiped, but still, it's annoying and something that doesn't happen on consoles.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What, stop, that's it? That's all you had to say? That's it? You have a 7-minute video with 10 reasons in it, and not the entire time of that video was actually discussing the 10 reasons. I mean, I'm not saying you can't go through 10 things really quickly and have it be awesome.
It's time for Kenny Blankenship's painful eliminations of the day!
Ah, right you are, Ken. But as far as viruses go, I haven't had a single virus in, 3 years that I've been a PC gamer? There's free antivirus software out there, and you can also pay for stuff if you want to. It's really disheartening that you're scared away from PC gaming in part because of viruses. And of course your irrational fear of buttons.
Number 8.
Rock Band. Yep, this is a whole reason.
Number 7.
Torrents. Honestly, I don't even know why some developers even bother with the PC anymore.
Because it's immensely profitable?
People can just download it for free. Has there ever been a single game that has been released both on a console and the PC, where the PC version sold more? Well, probably, but definitely not a lot.
Which is irrelevant anyway. The fact that the PC is almost exclusively digital means that there's less overhead in terms of shipping and transportation and manufacturing of the actual hardware. You know, discs. Companies are still making games for PC because, well, here in 2015, it's a huge segment of the market population and is swiftly growing. Plus, there's a lot of money to be made in it. It really is as simple as that. People will steal games for consoles too. It's just done with ski masks instead of black hats. There will always be a segment of the population that just doesn't want to pay for something, but they want to get the item anyway. Console gaming, PC gaming, thieves are everywhere. In terms of piracy, well, some people can't actually get the game through any other means. Now, I by no means support piracy, but there are some circumstances where it's very understandable. Some places just don't have access to the same games we do. A game may not be sold in that country. Maybe the import tax is ridiculously expensive. Brazil? People hack in games and mod their consoles and do other shady behavior on the console games, so does that mean I shouldn't ever play console for that reason? Every barrel has bad apples, but it's important to note that bad apples aren't necessarily bad people.
Number 6.
Playing on a TV is a better experience, especially on big HD TVs. There are really no comparison to playing on a computer screen, unless you have a really nice screen. However, I will give the computer screen one thing: it makes scary games even scarier, because you are so close to the screen. I remember when I played Half-Life 2 on 360, it was scary, but it wasn't jump out of your seat scary. When I tried just the demo on PC, it was jump out of your seat, piss and shit your pants scary. Anytime one of those stupid head crabs jumped at the screen, there was a brief second where I thought I was about to die. But other than being less scary, TVs are better than computer screens.
Alrighty, now that once again we have established that you know nothing about anything, let's get into the reasons why a computer screen is superior to a television. I used to have a boyfriend and he would only play PlayStation 4. He was not at all interested in playing on PC, which is fair enough. He was planning on getting a PC anyway. But, just as a start, I told him that he should go ahead and get a computer monitor for when he goes away to college. So that's what he did. He went ahead and spent money on a monitor, and he liked it a whole lot more. There was a lot less input lag. It could display at higher frames. Since he was closer to the screen and the screen was actually smaller, the resolution made a whole lot more sense. All in all, even though he was a straight-up console gamer, he admitted that playing on the computer screen was better. Even when he had both of them, he would play on the computer screen instead of the television. However, all of that is just anecdotal. It's not real, actual, solid evidence. So, let me give you some. First, let's discuss input lag. But what is input lag? According to Wikipedia, in video games, input lag is either the delay between the television or monitor receiving a signal and it being displayed on the screen, or the delay between pressing a button and seeing the game react. Obviously, input lag is extremely important in video games, especially in Twitch-based first-person shooters where you have to be as accurate as possible, quicker than the other guy is. If there is a bigger delay between what you tell your controller to do or what you tell your mouse to do and what is actually done in the game or what is actually displayed to you and other players, you're gonna have a bad day. When PC gamers choose a gaming monitor, normally these monitors advertise the fact they have very, very low response times. And low response times are good. That means that the actions that you perform are shown on the screen as quickly as they can be. The frame rate that you're playing a game on affects your input lag as well. However, in terms of consoles, since you guys don't ever go above 60 anyway, and since most televisions have a maximum refresh rate of 60, this doesn't really matter as much. What does matter is the input lag of those actual television sets. Television input lag is a lot like bugs and rat poop inside of bread for a Pilgrim on the Mayflower. It really, really sucks, but you're kinda used to it at this point. Plus, if you complain, that means you're going to hell. The site, rtings.com, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, did a test of 33 different TVs at release in 2015. The best they could get? 18.5 milliseconds. And the worst? A staggering 79.7 millisecond delay, which technically qualifies as time travel. 18 milliseconds, 50 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds. Milliseconds. These don't seem like they're important. It's just 18 milliseconds. And it definitely doesn't matter as much to a console gamer as it does to a PC gamer. I mean, you guys are normally playing at, 30 frames a second anyway? That gives you such immense input lag, it's way bigger than these small increments. Regardless, though, the 1, 2, 3 millisecond response times as advertised on gaming monitors, they're still far, far better for consoles, just like they are for PC. Input lag matters, and there's far less on a monitor. But now we have one of PC gaming's holy grails, if you will. That is frame rate and resolution. Now, unlike the input lag you're used to, I'm going to keep this really short. Pretty much all console games, even here in 2015, the next-gen consoles are struggling to even keep 60 frames a second after they neuter the resolution. Whereas 1080p 60 frames a second is kind of a common staple for PC gamers and can be achieved with not really any problem at all, consoles still struggle to get 60 frames a second or even 1080p at playable frame rates. One of the reasons that shows quite simply why computer monitors are better for gaming than a television set is because a PC gamer pretty much has to use a monitor for his gaming. Television simply can't give us the information that our eyes need for us to play these games as optimally as possible. They can't give us those high refresh rates. They can't give us those good resolutions. Quite simply, gaming monitors simply allow for better things to be shown to us as gamers. The reason you may not notice that your television set sucks so much is because your console can barely keep up with it.
Number 5.
PC gamers can be whiny little fallopian tubes.
In terms of biological functionality, I don't know how fallopian tube is an insult.
Whenever I hear the term PC gamer, I always think of a bunch of stuck-up, whiny bitches thinking they're better than everyone else.
Nobody has the capacity to make you feel inferior but yourself. Maybe you could tell your kids that one day. Hopefully they'll understand it more than you do.
Boycotting Left 4 Dead 2? Are you shitting me? Why? Because it came out a year after the first one?
Well, that was part of the reason.
Put a tampon in and shut the fuck up. It's a sequel. That's what happens with games. They get sequels. Not to mention the game was a huge upgrade over the first.
Don't get me wrong, I love Left 4 Dead 2. But even I have to admit, there wasn't really anything new in Left 4 Dead 2 that couldn't have been solved with an expansion pack. That's why a lot of gamers were upset with Valve, because a year after Left 4 Dead came out, they released another game that was really similar to it, but released with a full price tag. But it was more than just price. They were concerned about a few other things too. Left 4 Dead was still going strong after a year. Namely, that the release of this sequel so close to the first one would fracture the community. They were also, rightfully, concerned that this would mean that support for the first game would come to an end. I don't necessarily share all these opinions, but I can certainly understand them. And I'm probably not going to call them whiny bitches who need to shut the fuck up for a legitimate concern.
Except for the fact that you can no longer play as Bill.
That is not Bill. That is Bryan Cranston.
Now, I'm sure most PC gamers aren't like this, but once again, it's a classic case of a few people ruining it for everyone.
Number 4.
Macs are better than PCs. Now, I imagine this is going to piss a lot of people off,
You would imagine correctly.
but as someone who makes and edits movies like this, and makes music and stuff, Macs are just far more useful to me.
I mean, ignoring the fact this has nothing to do with consoles versus PCs, I wouldn't exactly toit this video as a representation of how excellent a Mac is. I barely know how to work this movie maker thing, and this video is of an equal to or better quality than your video is, and unlike Ronald Reagan's bodyguards, I'm Macless.
Not to mention they can run PCs inside of them.
An Apple product can run a Windows operating system inside of it, but your Xbox cannot run PlayStation Network. I would like you to ponder that for a moment.
So basically the only thing they can't do that PCs can is play games. But if I already have a computer, why would I get another one to play games? Especially when it's more expensive than a console.
If you've purchased an Apple computer, then clearly spending way more money than you need to on electronics should not be an issue for you.
Number 3.
Local multiplayer. This is huge for me. Games like Left 4 Dead 2, where everyone says they're better on PC, don't have this.
Actually, we do. You can get split screen on Left 4 Dead 2 on PC.
Playing with your friends always makes games more fun.
Fun fact, the Xbox 360 will run Left 4 Dead 2 at 60 frames a second. However, if you're going to play split screen, whoa, expect for that 60 to turn to 30. And pray to God a pipe bomb doesn't go off.
Okay, random tangent. Everyone who says Halo 3 is overrated, I highly disagree with you.
Well, I mean, one of your 10 points was a completely random tangent about PCs and Macs, so sure, why?
Why? Because it is something no other game I can think of has. 4-player split-screen online play.
I once made an hour-long video about a stupid 15-year-old I didn't even know. And this tangent is a waste of time.
Why do no other games have this? Left 4 Dead has 2 players online, but that's about it. It seems like not so complicated a task.
Well, obviously, it's because they would rather you have 4 copies of a game instead of everyone mooching off of one guy. Fuck, Ray Charles could see that.
Why can't Call of Duty have an unranked multiplayer option where we can have guests? If that ever happened, Halo 3 would become obsolete.
Wait, how the fuck would that make Halo 3 obsolete? Let's be honest here, the only thing that's gonna make Halo 3 obsolete is the Master Chief Collection. Ooh! But jokes about shitty games aside, I mean, sure, there's some similarities between Halo 3 and Call of Duty. I mean, they both have guns, you both shoot anything that has a different skin color than you. Other than that, these games are completely different. Everything from the settings, to the story, to the mechanics that are actually in the game, to the skills that it takes to play, they're nothing alike. You're telling me that all the Halo players are just gonna go, well, shit, Carl, are you telling me I can play Call of Duty on half of your television screen? Sign me the fuck up!
But until then, I'm still playing it.
Oh. You were being serious. Damn.
Okay, back to the point. Split-screen multiplayer makes games fun, PCs don't have it, consoles do.
Wait a minute. Freeze frame. Freeze frame? Okay, that's not as fun as I thought it'd be. Look at this picture right here. The chick in the orange, she is clearly not moving. Alright, back to the video.
Number 2.
Not having to worry about specifications and requirements. Hey, you want to buy Modern Warfare 2 on a PC?
No.
Yeah?
No.
Okay. Well, first you have to answer yes to all these questions.
Ugh.
If you have an Intel Pentium 4 3.2 GHz processor, at least 1 gig of RAM, 256 megabyte NVIDIA G4 6600 GT, whatever the fuck that is.
What do you mean, whatever the fuck that is? It's a graphics card, you idiot! You have a practically limitless collection of the sum of all human knowledge at your fingertips in the form of a fucking Google search. They used to write science fiction stories about this shit. How about you learn something for once? At least that way you won't get on the internet and make a goddamn fool of yourself by spelling out NVIDIA letter by letter like you're a 3-year-old preschooler who just learned that PH can come together and make the letter F. Rant over. Carry on.
12 gigs of free hard drive space, and Microsoft DirectX 9? So, do you still want Modern Warfare 2 on the PC?
No.
I have no fucking idea. Okay. You wanna buy Modern Warfare 2 on a 360 or PS3? Yeah? Do you have a 360 or PS3? Yeah? Okay, go ahead.
The console fanboy is afraid of both numbers and preschool level reading comprehension. Remember the last time I looked at system requirements and asked myself, will my computer run this? Because I don't either. You don't even have to ask yourself. All you have to do is look at the requirements here, and if your specs are at those or better, congratulations, you can run the game. It's literally that simple. And I don't throw around the word literally willy-nilly, okay? That's a strong word. Like Ohana, because Ohana means family. And family means nobody gets left behind. Which is why the internet is a treasure trove of information on graphics cards and CPUs and RAM and operating systems and all that stuff. If all you knew about PC gaming was how to turn the damn thing on and how to double-click a game icon, which is really what it takes to PC game, then you would still be able to find out whether or not your PC will run things just by asking the internet, just by looking it up.
Number 1.
Price and constant upgrading. The fact that you can buy a brand new PC today and have it not be able to play some current games is baffling to me.
You know, I'm gonna call bullshit on that. Can you back that up with anything? Can you explain things a bit?
I can buy a 360
Oh, you're not going to explain.
that was released in 2005, and it'll be able to play games that will be released for it in 2013.
And depressingly, even in 2015.
Not to mention, it's far less money. You can get a 360 for like $200 these days.
No, but you don't just get one Xbox 360. No one just gets one Xbox 360. And if you do, then you're a statistical anomaly. No, you get an Xbox 360, and then you get an Xbox 360 when the old Xbox 360 breaks down, and then when the new one breaks, Then you get a new Xbox 360, and then you keep doing that over and over until you're just sick and tired of Xbox 360s. I myself ran through 3 of the goddamn things. 3! Now, that was a while ago, right? I can't remember exactly how much I paid for each one, so let's just average it out at $300 per. That's $900. Oh, and don't forget tax. This ain't no digital download. You gotta pay taxes on that shit. Uncle Sam wants his share. So let's factor in a sales tax of 10%. That's $90, so we're up to $990. Whereas, both of my PCs have never broken. Not once. Not a single time. Plus, with a PC, if one thing breaks, the whole thing doesn't have to be trashed or returned. You can just change out whatever part breaks. And PC components don't really break. They just kind of sit there and do their thing. It doesn't get jostled around. It doesn't vibrate or rotate. It doesn't flip here and there. You don't put it in a box, take it to your friend's house, whatever you do. So you get home from work one day and you want to play some Call of Duty, and you turn on your Xbox and it just decides, fuck you, I'm not reading discs anymore. Well, you're up shit creek without a paddle. You can't just take out the disc tray and all the disc parts and send that in and have them give you a replacement. No. This is an Xbox, man. It's a console. It's a package deal. With a console, it's everything or nothing. One little part breaks, and the whole thing's got to be taken out. But other people have done the math before. If you buy a PC, you don't have to break the bank doing it. Your games are cheaper. You don't have to pay for online. I'm not going to go really in-depth here because I don't think you'd be able to comprehend it. I don't want all the numbers to scare you.
And you never have to worry about graphics card upgraders or any of that shit. You get the game, you put it in, it works. That simple.
The console fanboy will often use deceptive language in order to hide the poor qualities of the console, which are many. If you don't have the freedom to upgrade or the option to upgrade, they won't say that. No. We don't have to worry about upgrading. We don't have to do all that work. We don't have to learn anything, no matter how simple it may be. That sounds a whole lot better than, this company does not allow me to make changes to my hardware. Microsoft will not let me get more RAM. Sony will not let me get a better graphics card. A slave on a plantation in pre-Civil War America, I don't have to worry about taxes. I don't have to worry about paying bills. All that's taken care of. Before women could vote, oh, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about any of that. I don't have to worry at all. The men will take care of that for me. I don't have to learn about the candidates or what their positions on different topics are. That's all taken care of for me. It's so much easier. The massive advantages of being able to change and alter your hardware based on your preferences and your budget come with the tiny price tag of just having to learn a few simple things. The console fanboy will say, but all my games will run. That's right, they will all run. They'll run like shit. One of the last games I ever played on console was Battlefield 3. And just thinking about that game on the Xbox 360 is enough to make me cringe in my seat. I've got this gut feeling that this point will come across again and again, and so I'll say it now, and I know I will say it in the future. Having 0 options is not user-friendly. Having no choice is never user-friendly. But hey, whatever you have to do to make it feel like you have made the right decision. But hey, it's just typical console fanboy deceit.
Flame out. I am never saying that again.
Another console fanboy down. I only fear that every time I cut off a head, 2 more do not take its place. I'm but a small channel, very small, tiny, minuscule. So small, in fact, I'm practically only doing this on principle. Maybe I just get my jollies by telling people why they're wrong. Guess it doesn't really matter when you think about it. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. What do you want, Michael?